Thank you for joining us for 7 News at 6 on this New Year's Eve. I'm Tara Bates.
I'm Dave Hunter.
Your 7 News team is going over its top 7 most watched and read stories of the year. At number 1, not a single story, but an overarching issue, the Comanche County Detention Center.
7 News investigative reporter Seth Marsicano has been looking into the detention center for over a year, which started after we reported a spike in inmate deaths from 2023. And he has a recap on all we've found so far.
Incidents at the county jail are something that have been repeatedly reported on.
Need you en route to 315 Southwest 5th Street.
County, I need medical on the north side.
And outside the CCDC, they've reported a hostage situation.
But we at 7 News wanted to know just how much of an impact this detention center was having on the Comanche County residents. Starting with jail deaths, an open records request revealed a spike in 2023 compared to the previous 10 years, going from 1 death every 2 years to 1 every 2 months.
I don't think I could sit here and say that this is the reason why those deaths happen. It had to be a multiple reason that could lead to those deaths.
Other issues the jail was seeing were staff shortages, with the ratio of inmates to officers being around 4 to 1 at the beginning of the year. And according to Hobbs, the environment was just more violent.
Inmates coming in jails nowadays are a lot more violent. I don't know what causes it, but they're not. They're more violent now than they were 20 years ago, even though the charges may be the same.
That first story aired on January 18th, 2 days after Hobbs retired. It unfortunately doesn't end there. Another open records request showed the number of inmate deaths in 2024. As of December 4th, there have been 4 deaths: Taylor Specht, Kerry Warner, Terry Dorrell, and Jackie Burnett. It's important to state these inmates had families. Jamie McKinney, Ressie Ivory, and Vicki Dorrell live completely separate lives, but have one thing in common. All 3 are grieving mothers who lost their sons during their time in the Comanche County Detention Center.
You know, you get a knock on your door at 4:20 in the morning. The officers came. I was in the shower getting ready for work. You get told this, and within a matter of hours, you get told that you need to have $1,000 to cremate your child. It's too much in one day.
According to medical examiner reports, Keith Bradley died from a stab wound, while Antonio Ivory's cause of death was listed as undetermined.
It made me feel sad, hurt, confused, let down, cry every night. And the night I don't cry, I want answers. He's not gonna be able to take his baby to prom or see her graduate. You understand what I'm saying?
In Dorrell's case, her son was taken from Virginia by a warrant over delinquent fines. Terry was in custody for just over a week and would speak with his mother every day before he eventually lost his life.
But shame on them people. I mean, that was my son. That was my baby. And shame on Oklahoma. Shame on the state, shame on the detention center for not protecting him.
All 3 mothers also share similar stories, struggling to get answers from jail staff.
It feels like the investigation isn't into what's happened, how it happened, or who did it. It's more of a investigation of making sure that the jail covers their bases and makes sure that they don't get in trouble for any type of negligence. Vicki
flew in from Virginia, making multiple attempts to get any answers regarding what happened to her son. In Ressie's case, when we last spoke with her, she was moving forward with the intent to file a lawsuit, not taking no for an answer. McKinney has had the same luck, not knowing what to do next. Her main concern was the lack of charges. If someone murdered her son, why haven't they been charged?
How open are they with getting you answers?
He tells me to call back tomorrow. That's all I have to say about that. I'm not a mother that's going to sit here and tell you my son didn't belong there. My son did some bad stuff. He deserved to do his time. You know, they didn't deserve that.
Close to a year later, she heard back saying it was a case of self-defense based on security footage.
Show me what they're seeing to where it's self-defense. Did my son run up there and attack someone? Would that help me? It would bring light to this. I mean, as far as it would let me know that's what happened, and I can quit asking questions.
Your 7 News team also wanted to take a look at the tape showing the circumstances surrounding Bradley's death. This led us to file a lawsuit after the records request was denied on the claim that the Comanche County Detention Center is a law enforcement agency, as there are different standards to what's considered open in Oklahoma for a records request under law enforcement. The suit was filed January 30th. Judge Emetelo had 2 questions to answer: whether or not CCDC was a law enforcement agency, and if so, does the public's interest outweigh the reason for denial? In the end, after a 6-month legal process, according to Taylor, CCDC was considered a law enforcement agency, and the public's interest in viewing the tape did not outweigh the reason for denial. However, our lawsuit wasn't the only one filed. There have been others over the conditions of the facility itself. CCDC had an inspection earlier in the year from the State Department of Health. 31 pages of continuous hazards, ranging from failed counting logs to inmates sleeping underneath staircases and not being able to bathe for multiple days.
The photos are not normal. We believe what's shown in the photos are unlawful, showing just not only how much the county jail is over its rated capacity, which I believe is 283, but how often it's over capacity. So it's not just like you have a freak accident or some type of strange influx over, a month or 2 at a time. We're talking multi-year.
On top of the fact there are real people living either in these conditions or with the results of a loved one dying, every Comanche County citizen is paying for it in the form of tax dollars. Because of the detention center's struggle with overcrowding, the county has signed multiple contracts to house inmates outside of the county, which District 3 County Commissioner Josh Powers says costs over $200,000 every month.
From my understanding, it's basically been at capacity or over since day one. It's unfortunate that we did that and didn't kind of foresee the future. I'm trying not to make a mistake that we've already done once. So for me, it's important whatever we do to address the problem this time doesn't need to be a temporary fix. It doesn't need to be a partial fix. It doesn't need to be a fix for just today.
Powers says this is a major expense they're actively working toward addressing. He says a potential solution is building an additional facility, which could save the county a lot of money.
We ran some numbers, and I could be spending less than half of that on a payment for a facility inside our own county.
Powers adds this is such a multifaceted issue that to be done the right way the first time is going to require detailed planning. Reporting for 7 News, I'm Seth Marsicano.